join me in welcoming Dr. Michael Sappol.
Thank you, Janet, for that long and lengthy introduction. It was great. I'd forgotten a lot of those things myself. The films you're about to see, the human body is going to get attacked by acid demons, militarized mosquitoes, tuberculosis germs, hormones, cancer cells, and even its own repressed anxieties. You'll see a body that's vulnerable to attack on its surface and from within. And the message of these films is that you should be afraid. But not too afraid. Don't be so afraid that you're paralyzed by fear. Go to your doctor. Accept his recommendations and the recommendations of scientific authority, and watch your body obsessively for signs of disease, and go for regular checkups. The films come to you from the National Library of Medicine, where I work, and I have a nice job. It's the world's largest medical library. It has a great collection of rare books, manuscripts going back to the 11th century, and also lots of wonderful films going back to the silent era and cartoons. Some of the films that I'm going to show today are rare. None of them is perfect. You'll see scratches, discoloration, fading, muddy sound, damaged sprocket holes, and all the rest. Some are very well documented, and historians have worked with them and know a lot about them and have been seen by millions of people in their day. And some by very, very few. They were just kind of obscure things that never really got shown for much. And the background is that in the early 20th century and the mid-20th century, there was a movement of visual educators, educational professionals, entrepreneurs, who argued that pictorial technologies like slide projections and halftone illustrations and posters, museum displays, were more effective ways to teach than the traditional lecture in front of a blackboard. And these educators had observed the rapt attention that viewers gave to motion pictures especially, and they believed that a picture was worth 1,000 words. And as I said, particularly there was great excitement about film. A revolutionary teaching tool, a new medium for a new age. This is in the early 1900s, 1920s, 1930s, and 40s, and even 50s. And film was thought to have especially transformative effects. It's a quintessentially modern technology. It not only taught the audience, it kind of affected its audience viscerally, could shape its character, worldview. It didn't just reason with the audience, it recruited the audience's emotions. And cartoon animation especially, because even though it was labor-intensive, expensive to produce, people saw that it had the power to reach children, uneducated adults, the distracted and distractible masses, and that was, of course, the word that they used back then. So it's a powerful technology of forming public opinion and the kind of people who the public was, social engineering, in other words. So we're going to start in the 1920s with a couple of clips from two dental films. Of course, dental films are the health film, because their films intended for children. And these are films that they're made in Kansas City. In 1922, Walt Disney had just founded the Laugh-O-Gram Studios before he had come to Hollywood and before he had invented Mickey. It's still the silent era. And like a lot of new businesses, he had a lot of debts, and it was kind of touch and go. Kansas City area dentist, Dr. Thomas McCrum, paid Disney $500 to make two films. The first one, I'm just going to show clips of these. They combine live action and animation. First one is from 1922. It's called Tommy Tucker's tooth. So dim the lights, please. Dim the sound, because they're silent. And I am going to start the movie. Here we go. And I'm going to talk over it because it's silent, otherwise you'll get very... Okay, can we see the screen? Okay, here you go. It's a silent film. Every time you eat, food stays in the grooves of your teeth. And from this spoiled food, an acid forms, which attacks the enamel and makes a little hole. These films are very slow and very didactic. So here you go. Food lodged in tooth. Decayed food. Oops. Acid demons. And they're working on the tooth, and the mouth is kind of like hell there. But here's another metaphor. When mother is finished ironing, she comes to your stocking. See, so they're going to try different methods of reasoning with the audience. Here's dear old mom. She finds a little hole. Oh dear. And it's very slow, and she's darning it. There you go, dear old mom. And if she misses that little hole and you wore the stockings again, it would be a ... big hole. It would grow larger. And you can see these are kind of films in bad shape. So now you have a scene where the teacher is narrating to the kids, and like the little hole in your tooth, every meal, a little more food, more acid. So she's telling the class, and there are the acid demons. And they're getting to work, and you can see it gets bigger till it reaches the nerve. And whoops, I just did something that was I wasn't supposed to do, so ignore the man behind the screen there. Okay. And you can see lightning bolts come out, and then the nerve cries for help. Lightning bolts are and that's the way Tommy got toothache. And the second reason is, we're not going to see the second reason. Anyway, so you get the idea. These are short little patches of animation. They're kind of fun. This is very common in dental films where the mouth is considered like a cavern, maybe a little bit like hell, where demons emerge and attack your teeth. There are other dental films that do this for decades afterwards. This is kind of a model of dental filmism. Next one is another clip. Oh, thank you. So this will be even better now. Now that it'll be in. This is from 1926. Clara cleans her teeth. And you'll see it. Clara's got really bad teeth, and the kids at school are nasty to her. And now she's spending a sleepless night. The kids have been making fun of her really bad teeth. And whoop! Here come the dental instruments. Oh, let's go talk to Clara. Okay. Yeah, she's really got bad teeth. Come on, guys. And they go on. And Disney had been experimenting a lot with this kind of mixture of live action and animation. Uh-oh. Look, there's Clara. Open your mouth, Clara. Come on. No. Open your mouth. Open your mouth. Come on. Ah. Ooh. Oh, I don't like what I see in there. No, okay. Rotten teeth. Broken teeth. No good. Oh, must be filler. Up they come. I'm hoping there's some talent scouts in the audience. I'm willing to do animation. Voiceovers here. Go away. I don't like you. You're bad dental instruments. Go away. Oh dear. What a terrible nightmare. Mother. Here's dear old mom again. Clara. Wake up. It's only a dream. Wake up. As I said, these are kind of slow. Oh, it's you, Mother. Oh, my teeth. They are all gone. Okay, so there you go. It's a little section from Clara Cleans Her Teeth. Now we're going to skip ahead about 15-20 years into the sound era. And it's wartime. And this is a kind of interesting moment in filmmaking, in health filmmaking, because all of a sudden government funding for health films just goes up enormously. I'm losing my will to speak here. It's part of those war effort. There's a kind of massive government investment in educational propaganda and health films, and a massive recruitment of top-notch animation talent for the cause. And it's just the idea that we need to have professionals at all levels, professional medical expertise, professional psychological and psychiatric expertise, and professional filmmaking expertise. So in 1942, the Armed Forces Motion Picture Unit forms, commanded by Frank Capra. Animation department commanded by Ted Geisel, also known as Dr. Seuss. And they began producing a series of humorous animated cartoons featuring the bumbling Private Snafu. These are shown to millions of armed forces personnel as a regular feature of the Army-Navy Screen magazine. Most of these films deal with non-health topics such as black marketeering, wartime censorship, military discipline. But as you can see, they also dealt with health topics such as malaria prevention. And the talent in the films was drawn from the big studios, mainly Warner Brothers. So you'll hear in this film the voice of Mel Blanc, who did Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. Carl Stallings, the great Warner Brothers composer, did the kind of boing sounds. And this is going to be Private Snafu. Well, let's see if I can get to my screen here. Okay, there we go. Versus Malaria Mike. It's 1944. It's directed by the great Warner Brothers animator Chuck Jones. And it's got sound, so let's hear the sound. Okay. I'll shut up.
Justice to the nose. Well. Swimming at sundown and naked all over. Just my week. Snafu, I never forget a face. No resistance. Now, where did that little summer gun go? Just my type. Caught me with his pants up. But I'll show the little... underbelly of Sappol. windage 4, range 75. Bull!
What did you do in the big roar, Daddy?
Oh, I did my share.
Just a moment, please. This program has come to you through the courtesy of my sponsors, the United States Army, distributors of GI repellent, mosquito nets, Venereal tablets, and good old-fashioned horse sense. Gee, I wish the hell I'd used them.
There you go. And that's Private Snafu versus Malaria Mike. And you can see it's the animation technique and storytelling and the whole idea of the health film have moved quite far from those early Disney films. It's very sophisticated kind of rhetoric. It doesn't try to hit you over the head with moral persuasion and it's in fact a pretty amoral narrative. It's got a lot of violence, sex, and other stuff. And deliberately so. I mean, Warner Brothers films in the late 30s, early 40s were sort of known for having a lot of kind of sexy stuff in them already, but because they were intended to be shown for mainly male adult servicemen, they could go a little bit further. So you'll see there's the key moment which undoes Private Snafu is when he masturbates. He wakes up in the middle of the night, sees the picture of his girlfriend, sticks his butt out of the bed net, and that's what gets him into trouble. Anyway, and also I should point out that these are films that are part of coordinated campaigns. So those kind of 4 talking points, mosquito nets, atabrine, repellent, good old-fashioned horse sense, are in posters, comic books, radio spots. It's a coordinated campaign, unlike these kind of more sporadic things that people did earlier. Now, the second wartime film that I'm going to show from Army Navy Screen Magazine is quite different. It's from a different series, although the character looks a little bit like Private Snafu. It's called A Few Quick Facts About Fear, and it's from a series called A Few Quick Facts. And these are really short films. It's directed by Zach Schwartz, and it's really one of the first modernist films, and it's a kind of interesting history. There are a bunch of animators who were kicked out of Disney because they tried to organize a union, and they form these small production companies and do films on contract to the U.S. government or to industry, and eventually form UPA, which became a major animation house in the 1950s, and they pioneer a new style. And here the animator is John Hubley, and it's very modernist. It's very minimalist. There are no detailed backgrounds, so it's very cheap to produce, and this becomes the modern style of animation that you see in the Flintstones and everything else in the 1950s. These people pioneer it just about this time. And the other interesting thing about this film is that it's about fear. And it reflects a kind of medicalization of the war effort. In previous wars, fear is equated with cowardice. Here, you're going to see it explained as a natural, adaptive, physiological response, which, if you can explain it, you can use to your advantage, and that's the moral of the story here. So this is a few quick facts about fear. So dim the lights, and here we go. Army Navy Screen Magazine, 1945.
storybooks. Those were the good old days when men really were brave. Then the world was inhabited by a fearless breed of men. Men afraid of absolutely nothing.
That's right. Absolutely none.
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely.
Radically nothing. Yes, ever since the world began, men have been scared. The brave knights of old had those same cold beads of perspiration. Their hair stood on end. Their hands got clammy. Their hearts pounded. Their stomachs flopped and bounced. Like them, they got keyed up too, being normal human beings. Scare a man, and automatically his fear machine starts rolling, wakes him up all over, and prepares him to recognize the danger. Nerves go into action and wake up a couple of glands. The glands come through with a shot of adrenaline, and all hell breaks loose. And it all makes sense. Nerve cells get hopped up. You see more clearly. You hear more keenly. Muscles tense. Your body's ready to act and act fast. But to act at top speed calls for extra energy. That's where the liver comes in. This is the fuel tank. The fuel is sugar. And here's where it's stored. Getting scared gets it out through the bloodstream to your muscles that need it. To get it there quicker, your heart pumps faster, and you breathe harder, bringing in more oxygen to change that sugar into strength. And here we are. Scared? Yes, but ready. Ready either to get away from the danger or stay and fight with extra strength. That's the best thing about fear. You can make it work for you instead of against you.
Well, there you go. Scare a man and his fear machine goes into action. The next cut I'm going to skip a little bit. These are part, was originally done as a part of a 2-night event at the National Academy of Sciences in Washington, D.C. So you're getting kind of an abbreviated version. But if you're really good, maybe I'll come back. So in 1944, all of the different branches of the armed services were producing health films. And so we're going to see a very rare clip from a longer film that was made by the U.S. Coast Guard. It's called The Inside Story. And it sort of follows through with some of the same logic as a few quick facts about fear, which is to say, the idea in World War II, as opposed to earlier wars, is that we, as part of the total war effort, we're going to get psychiatric and psychological professionals to help us fight. And so in previous wars, there was a problem that was called malingering. In World War II, it's now called psychosomatic disease. And so this is a little vignette, animated vignette from a longer live-action film in which a serviceman is just enlisted. He's had a lot of attention in high school, where he was a football player. He's having trouble adjusting to military life. He's a sailor. Sailor Jones is his name. And he feels pain in his knees. He goes to the base clinic. The doctor says, nothing wrong with your knees, sends him over to the base psychiatrist. Of course, previous wars, you don't have a base psychiatrist. And the base psychiatrist starts explaining matters to him. So and then you'll see, things get animated and much more interesting. All right, so here's the inside story. Dim the lights. There we go.
Can help you if I give you an idea of how your mind works. You see, Jones, emotions actually can cause real physical pain. The conscious mind is a pleasant, sunny place where normal thoughts have free rein. The unconscious mind is dark and mysterious and harbors such thoughts as, I'm lonesome. Nobody pays any attention to me. I wish I were dead. I must be losing my mind. These thoughts are constantly trying to get into the conscious mind to get past the censor who polices the band. It's his job to keep them out. Hey. There's a little thought that keeps popping up. I'm lonesome. I wished I was dead.
Huh? What did you say?
I said I wished I was dead.
I must be stupid. I just can't see things clearly.
Outside, bums. You know, anything but. You get the knife from me. I'm my own worst enemy. I think I am. Stop picking on me. Somebody's always picking on me. Nobody pays any attention to me. They're blind to real talent. Watch this.
Holy cats, I must be losing mine.
Censored out of the conscious mind, these self-pitying thoughts tumble into the lap of old unconscious mind, the dormant parent of all your emotions, and arouse him with their clamor. They goad him to find another way for them to assert themselves on your conscious mind. So this brute who never forgets anything that ever happened to you remembers a certain incident. Which got you a nice lot of sympathetic attention in the past. An incident which your conscious mind may have completely forgotten, but your unconscious remembers. And now he knows just what to do.
I've got it, boys. Into the car with you.
Come on, let's go. Why didn't we think of this before? Attention now, this really makes it hurt. And that's why your knee hurt, even though there's nothing physically wrong with it. Oh, I'm sure glad to hear that.
Well, gee, Doc, I feel better already. As you can see, this was kind of a Freudian moment in psychiatric profession of the time. This is kind of a pop Freudian explanation of psychosomatic disease. So there you go. This was made by the Paramount studio, which around the same time was doing their kind of the second generation version of Popeye, and it's pretty good. I'm going to skip around a little bit here. I think that I want to show this one too. This is a short film which features a snafu-like character named Private McGillicuddy. It's a very rare film. It was made by the U.S. Navy, mainly the Marine Corps, for troops in the South Pacific. Again, it's one of those coordinated campaign films. It's from a series of films called The Commandments of Health, or For Health. So this is a Private McGillicuddy film. Lower budget, so the animation is a little more jagged, but it's still Warner Brothers talent and still Mel Blanc doing the voices. So here you go, Cleaning Mess Gear.
Private McGillicuddy, and his unusual activity is quite a surprise. Face mask, rubber gloves, disinfectant. Looks like he's preparing for an important operation. And he is. He's going to wash his mess gear. Although he's knocking himself out with all his surgical etiquette, there's good reason for it. Mac is not taking any more chances. So draw up a foxhole and we'll tell you why. Once upon a time, McGillicuddy ignored the commandment, "Thou shalt carefully and faithfully wash thy mess gear, both before and after meal. For verily, if thou become negligent in this habit, thy guts shall be like knots in a wet rope." So, while the other men went through their usual routine of cleaning their mess gear in scalding hot soapy water, McGillicuddy would stand his lazy butt under a coconut tree and wash his gear in his own way. Sure, it looks clean, but it isn't. You can't clean your mess gear by licking it.
You can?
No, that just makes it look pretty. Here, look at it through this magnifying glass. You see those little spots? They're bits of decayed food. No telling how long they've been there. Now watch closely. Fusing? That is a germ. You ain't seen nothing yet. Take another gander. Now watch him multiply. 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 108, 160, here properly, you've been eating those dirty microscopic scavengers. Well, that's more like it. And that isn't all. You've got to wash it again before you eat. Otherwise, stray insects, like this fly, for instance, will foul it up again. Maybe just into the privy, maybe your garbage dump, and undoubtedly is packed with dysentery germs. If you're not careful, McGillicuddy, you will be too. What's more? Hey, you knucklehead, wake up! I'm talking to you. There's a fly on your mess gear. Don't forget to wash that thing before you eat. That is the story of Private McGillicuddy and the bad little germs, and how he learned to wash his mess here and lived happily ever after.
Yeah, so that's one of the little treasures we found in the basement of the library. And it's notable for a few reasons. One is it's rare in that the thing to fear most is not the disease, but the medical treatment. It's a great depiction of medical sadism. And of course, like many films, and I could show 10 other films if had we only time, you notice the flies look suspiciously like the stereotypical cartoon rendering of Japanese that was very prevalent. Insects, the snafu versus malaria actually is rare in that the insects are sort of shown as regular guys. And most they're shown as the other. Okay, so there you go. And that was made by Hugh Harman Productions, and Hugh Harman was one of those guys who started animating with Disney back in Kansas City. So this was a club. And moving on to the post-war period, this massive government expenditure in filmmaking kind of grinds to a halt in 1946-47. But people are very impressed by it, and the National Tuberculosis Association and the American Cancer Society are very impressed by filmmaking and animated filmmaking. And they hire people from UPA, in the case of the National Tuberculosis Association, just a group. But you'll see the same people who were doing the film Fear. And they made a fairly elaborate 10-minute animation, Technicolor, and this is called Rodney, and we'll talk about it afterward. Yeah, the sound on some of these is a little shaky, but bear with it.
can't tell whether it means anything just from this X-ray. We have to make some other tests, such as the tuberculin test.
Tuberculin test?
And we'll get another X-ray.
Another X-ray? What's it all about, X-ray?
Well, Rodney, the laboratory tests of this new X-ray show that you have active TB. Tuberculosis.
Tuberculosis? Me? You must be wrong, Doc. I never felt better in my life.
Early TB doesn't have to have symptoms. You have it even though you say you never felt better.
What's happening? Am I a goner? I'm too young to die. People my age don't get TB. It must be something else. Maybe it's just a touch of asthma. Don't you think it's asthma, Doc?
Slow down, son. People any age can get tuberculosis. Because you've had regular physical checkup, we found your TB before it had a chance to get really bad. Early tuberculosis like yours can be cured. Sure, it takes a little time.
Hey, what is TB anyway?
Well, it's a disease caused by the tubercle bacillus, a germ. These germs get into the air around us. They can stay alive in the air, all right, but they'd rather be in a place where it's warm and moist and dark, like your lungs, where they can multiply and grow and get plenty of food. Food?
Me?
Yes, you. You're their food. If the germs get into your lungs and your body doesn't fight back fast enough, then you get active TB, and you can spread germs.
How about that? Well, who spread it to me? How'd I get it?
Well, there's no knowing exactly. Maybe you've been around people who had TB and didn't know it. Then spitting, sneezing, and coughing can load the air with TB germs.
Gee, I always thought TB was something you found only in places like slums.
Sure, in any crowded place, disease can spread faster to more people. And these people may not be able to get enough good food, rest, and medical checkups. But Rodney, germs don't know one person from another. Rich or poor, little or big, anyone can get TB.
I guess coughing, sneezing, or spitting is bad anywhere.
It sure is. But everyone has the same good chance to be cured if TB is found early as yours.
Okay, how do we start curing it? What sort of medicine do I take?
The best medicine for you is plenty of rest.
I'll start today. Afternoon naps?
No. The best place to rest is in a tuberculosis hospital.
Hospital? But I can't go way off somewhere. I've never even been out of the state. I'd rather rest at home. Besides, I don't want to go.
So Rodney entered the hospital. But it wasn't up in the mountains, and it wasn't off in the desert.
This is where I'm going to stay, Doc?
That's right.
Right here near home? Well, this isn't so bad.
Of course not, Rod. What's going to get you well is good food and rest. Mostly rest. You don't have to go to a special climate. We can cure TB in any climate because you can get plenty of rest, have the proper food in any tuberculosis hospital, wherever it is.
Gee, my folks can come here to see me and my girl. Hey, you sure they don't have it?
All the tests we've made show your folks are okay, Rod. And we'll keep further check on them to make sure they stay that way. That's another reason for coming here, Rod. It protects your family and friends.
Say, Doc, what do I do to keep in shape around here? I can take a good workout once in a while, can't I?
Son, you're sick. Look, if you had a broken foot, you would be smart to kick a football with it? If your back was sprained, would you mow the lawn? It's the same with your legs. You want to keep them as quiet as possible so they're healed. Do you know that just running takes 50
stretch a minute? Even walking takes 25. You stay in bed, and you'll be using your lungs as little as possible. Sometimes when a lung can't heal, even with complete bed rest, an operation can collapse it, so it doesn't have to do any work at all. The other lung does all the breathing necessary until the diseased lung heals and can go back to work again. But we're not going to try that now. You can see why we want you here instead of at home. Home just isn't designed for the kind of rest you need. This hospital is. And if you should need drugs or surgery, the hospital doctors and nurses are right here to give them to you.
Rodney Cough. The thing that was curing now was not activity, but rest. The medicine was rest. Good food and plenty of rest. It didn't happen overnight, but the rest began to do its job. Gradually, his lungs began to heal, to get well. He could use it more and more, until finally, one day,
Hey, Godbang! Hiya, Rod! Hiya. Gee, Rod was lucky.
lucky? No. Rodney was smart. Smart enough to have a medical checkup and an x-ray once a year.
So there you go. That's Rodney, and that is actually a beautiful work of animation. From, as I said, most of the people doing the work were associated with the UPA production group. You can see that it's a moment when mass screening for X-rays is the kind of center of the tuberculosis campaign. You might not know that you have the disease. You have to go to the doctor on a regular basis, and so it's not just monitoring your own body for signs. The disease can be hidden. This is a moment when groups like the National Tuberculosis Association are going to Madison Avenue and to Hollywood, and there are all kinds of professional consultants making these films, and in fact the associations in the American Cancer Society, you'll see in the next film, really get taken over by these advertising people. And everyone wants to be modern, and you can see that. And of course, this is right in the post-war period, so it's kind of a return to normalcy. So, and the X-ray is kind of the centerpiece, is the hero of the story. So the last film I'm going to show tonight is a couple of years later. It's called Man Alive. It was nominated for an Academy Award for the best short film. Didn't win, but it's made by UPA, as you'll see. Again, it's all kind of situated in the domain of modernity and something that's familiar to all of you. It sort of situates cancer and the cancer patient in the world of car culture. So here is Man Alive. And this is the UPA production company in this period is making Mr. Magoo and Gerald McBoing Boing, and so they're a very successful company. At this point, this is a major investment by the Cancer Society to hire these guys. So, Man Alive. Dim the light.
moment out of doors. Restful, calm, majestic. There's nothing like it to give you the feeling that it's great to be alive. Everyone shares in the feeling. Everyone, that is, except Ed Conway. Ed has a problem. No, it isn't Mary and his wife. It's this. Ed doesn't know what's making that noise. What's more, he's afraid to find out. Why? He's scared it might be something serious, and his fear has frozen his judgment. He knows something is the matter with the engine, but because he's scared of what it might be, he won't admit anything's wrong. That's what a simple fear can do. Here are some other things it can do.
Ed, what's that noise?
Noise? What noise? Ed's not really an idiot. He's simply denying the source of anxiety, pretending there's nothing there. Fear can also make it project the anxiety, try to laugh it off.
It's a kind of knock-knock. Knock-knock.
Oh, I get it. Knock-knock. Who's there? Marion. Marion who? Marion Hayes, pretended leader. Or if that doesn't work, there's the camouflage called I See Disdain.
Why don't you go back to Glasson's garage? Now, Ed, you're just being stubborn. Just the way you are about your stomach trouble.
Oh, for crying out loud, talk, will you? And that was the last refuge in ducking the issue. Anger. Unreasoning anger. But you can't drive away anxiety about your car or your stomach by denial, sarcasm, or anger. There are always reminders. Forget it. And there comes a time when it's impossible to ignore the trouble any longer. So you may want advice. It's easy to get.
Looks bad. Once they start to go, it's curtain.
How's what? Like a cave shed.
Ah, before the widget fittings.
My brother-in-law has the same trouble. Louis. Ed is now more confused and worried than he was before. But what's this? Save expensive repair bills. Recondition your own motor. Results guaranteed. Well, there are the results. And they're guaranteed.
Now will you take it to Glassner's, Ed?
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do, Mac. A place down the roadway, a fellow named Clyde. Got a special system for taking a motor down. Save you some dough.
This is Clyde. Got a special system for taking a motor apart.
Well, where's my frigate jet? I got my king-size ring planters, stable vehicular pulse suppressors, and rubber chasing model.
Ed didn't save a dime by going to Clyde.
Too bad, Mr. Powley. Wish you brought it in when the trouble first started. Now. Well, here's the turret. We replaced it. What's the matter, Mr. Powley? Something bothering you?
Yes, something's bothering Ed. His stomach. As Marion said, it's been on the blink for a couple of weeks now. Again, Ed's worried and scared. Worried that his indigestion might be something serious, and scared to face the problem. We're hoping the subject comes up.
Why do you take that stuff all the time, Ed?
He uses the same bag of tricks. Denial.
What do you mean? I don't take it all the time.
Laughing it off.
I don't think it does you any good.
Well, the Florence Nightingale of Lake Street.
We were talking about your stomach.
I see disdain. And finally, anger.
Ed,
always should go and see a doctor. Get out.
Just a minute, Ed. Huh? You're being very difficult, you know.
I'm being difficult.
Right. The same as you were about your car.
Oh.
You know, your body's a lot like your car motor, except that it's a little harder to buy new parts for it. When your motor's in good shape, it runs like this. When something goes wrong, it usually gives you a warning. Your body usually gives you a warning, too. When it does, it's best to pay attention and do something about it.
Do something? My medicine cabinet is loaded with stuff.
Ed, using that in your stomach is like using this in your engine. It's dangerous. Look here. You've had indigestion for more than a couple of weeks. See that signboard? It's something that could mean cancer.
Yeah. Well, I might as well give up then. Like the fellows were saying just the other day.
Cancer? Once it starts in, it's curtain.
Run to the family.
Contagious, too.
My wife's uncle had it.
Bluey, you've heard amateur diagnosis before. You ought to know what it's worth. Nothing.
Well, what can I do?
Very simple. Get your clothes on and go right now to see a doctor. Yeah. It's perfectly right and normal to be afraid of cancer. Cancer is an enemy, but you don't fight it by getting panicky. Instead, you take positive action. You go to a man who has the weapons to fight the enemy. Wait a minute. Ed, that's not the man. Remember Clyde, the mechanic with the special system? This is the same type of operator. Yes, the only man to trust is a recognized physician. Ed's still pretty nervous.
All right, Mr. Connolly.
You're always more scared of something you know nothing about. And Ed has a lot to learn about cancer. Here are the facts. Cancer is not contagious. Cancer is not hereditary. Cancer is curable. Thousands of Americans are cured of cancer every year by one or more of 3 recognized cures: surgery, X-ray, and radium. You see, a cancer is a group of cells within your body whose growth is uncontrolled and very rapid. At first, the cancer may be localized, but unless its growth is checked quickly, it spreads. It may spread this way by direct extension, or, which is even more dangerous, it may spread like this, with cells leaving the main part of the cancer and entering the bloodstream to lodge and grow in other parts of the body. This is called metastasis. It can happen to a cancer at any time. When it does, the problems of locating and attacking the cancer are greatly increased. Cancer must be found and treated before it extends too far or metastasizes. Early examination is half the battle in successful cancer treatment. That means going to a doctor. With new scientific methods, we can accurately detect cancer much earlier than we could even 5 years ago. But in order to get to a doctor early, we must constantly be on the lookout for cancer's danger signals. Watch for these. Any sore that does not heal, a lump or thickening in the breast or elsewhere, unusual bleeding or discharge, any change in a wart or mole, persistent indigestion or difficulty in swallowing, persistent hoarseness or cough, any change in normal bowel habits. Thousands of people are enjoying life today because they went to their doctors early. But the fact is that twice as many people could be cured of cancer every year if we would all do these things. Watch for the danger signals. Ignore rumor mongers. Keep away from quacks. Put no trust in so-called home remedies for cancer. Go to the doctor regularly for checkups and go immediately when a symptom shows up that might mean cancer. But here's Ed again a few days later, waiting for the results of his examination.
All right, Mr. Connolly.
Well, Ed, here are the answers you've been waiting for.
Ed realizes now how valuable was the time he wasted in denial, sarcasm, and anger.
Don't worry. To get to the point you're most concerned about, though, Ed, you do not have cancer.
I don't think. No, had I been? Oh, why didn't I get down here weeks ago? Oh, boy, no more worrying.
Hold it, Ed. It is foolish to worry day and night about cancer, but it's just as foolish not to worry about it at all. Be on guard. Don't let fear make a mess of your life again, but use your good common sense. Well, Ed's not making the same mistake twice. Now he watches for warning signals and goes to a doctor every 6 months for a checkup, no matter how well he may feel. Oh, yes, and so does Mary. And what a difference it makes, ensuring their health, their peace of mind, their disposition. Ed and Marion are able to enjoy life to its fullest.
And they lived happily ever after. Or did they? That's the presentation for tonight. I'm glad to... I know we've gotten longer than you usually do.